The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Hyalite Montana, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32771. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new fire apparatus. Let's start down at the front bumper. On the passenger and driver side, center under the front bumper, you'll find two open-ended tow hooks. Moving just on the cutouts of the bumper, you'll find two forward-facing air horns. Moving up onto the face of the bumper, you'll find your low and high beam headlight structure. Moving just inward of that location to the center, you'll find your PA speaker and also your electronic siren. Moving up onto the passenger side, you'll find your remote controlled bumper turret monitor. Moving down to the center area, you'll find two D handles which gain access to the tubbed storage area in the front bumper extension. Moving on to the side of the body, you'll find your turn marker indicator. Just inward of that location, you'll find your turn indicator. And then also just inward of that location within the same cluster, you'll find an emergency warning light forward facing. As we move up onto the windshield, you have a single piece windshield with 3 windshield wipers across the front. On the outer edges, you'll find 2 mirrors, right and left. In those 2 section mirrors, you'll find a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 running lights. Located just slightly on an angle, you'll find 2 forward-facing floodlights. And then all the way up onto the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's take a couple close-ups here of what we just talked about. Down at the very bottom, bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move up from that, you'll find the fitting which houses your bumper turret. Let's move inside the tubbed storage location. This is an 1.5-inch swivel discharge located on the front and also just to the rear. Here's a view with the tub storage lid in the open position. Let's now move to the driver's side of the vehicle where you'll find your auto eject shore inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. Just next to it, you'll find your air inlet. Let's go ahead and move now to the main section of the body. Let's point out a few safety items here. First, pressurized caps and the associated hazard. That's a warning label. As we move to the right, you'll find a warning label here for fall and not to ride on the side of the vehicle. And then you'll also find a do not mix different foam types, consistencies, or brands. Let's go ahead and start back up in the upper left-hand corner. You'll find two 2.5-inch discharges on this side of the pump. You'll also find your large diameter pump intake. Moving up to the upper right-hand side, you'll find an air inlet and also the air chuck location. As we move further down, you'll find your foam fill operations for draft fill. There's also a lever and also an inlet. To the right, you'll find your auxiliary 2.5-inch inlet. And then across the bottom, you'll find all your associated drains, which are labeled and also color-coded. Here's a quick look up at that top section. This is the air supply and also the air outlet. This is a turn, not a pull. General view here of the side of your pump panel. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's start in the upper corner of your pump panel at the very top. When your pump is properly engaged, you'll find this light will illuminate. Let's move down to the left. You'll find in green the foam A tank. This is the indicator for your foam A. Moving to the right in the gray area, you'll find your master intake. And then moving to the right, you'll find your test gauge ports. These are for vacuum and also pressure. They currently have plugs in those. And then to the right, you'll find your master discharge. All the way to the right-hand side, upper right corner is where you'll find the amber PCM fault indicator. You also have the ability to control the alarm for audio, which is just turning the outer edge of the bezel. Down to the left, next section down, you'll find all your associated discharges. You can see in red, they are foam capable. As we move to the right, you'll find your panel gauge heater that is automatic. And then you'll also find your driver's side 2.5-inch pre-connect. And then your fire pump. This is going to be a push to prime. There are some priming instructions just beneath that. We'll go ahead and cover your Pierce throttle governor. This is going to be in the upper right-hand corner of the pump panel. First, amber light, check engine if illuminated.
In the center, you'll find a digital readout for your RPMs. Moving to the right, you'll find the stop engine, which would be a red indicator if illuminated. And then just beneath that, you'll find all of your associated engine diagnostic information. Just beneath that, you'll find in the blue section, this is your water tank from empty to full with hash marks at quarter, half, and 3/4. To the right, you'll find a red silence button. And then just beneath that, you'll find the ability to scroll through the menu with the orange button. As we move down to the lower left section of this, you'll find your pressure control. There are two modes you can be in, either pressure control or RPM or throttle control. Located in the center, you'll find a digital readout. As you move further down from that location, the blue is where you can switch between control modes for pressure or RPM. Located in the center, there is a throttle ready position. That is a green indicator. And then moving to the right in green, you have a preset button which you can allow to scroll through your various presets. Down at the very bottom, you'll find your throttle and also the ability to push the red button in the center to gain the idle position. Let's move now to the left-hand side where you'll find your tank fill. Moving to the right, you'll find a switch regarding your tank to pump. Just beneath that, you have a switch for your recirculating line. Those do have indicators that will illuminate when they've been activated. To the right, you'll find your reel discharge. This is for the reel on top of the vehicle. And then you also have a blowdown, which is going to be for a reel. You twist, do not pull. In the upper right, in the red section, this is your Husky 3 foam system. The specifications and operating instructions are just beneath that in the two placards below. And then as we move to the upper right-hand corner, you'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule, which we'll go over that in just a moment. Moving further down, you do have two electronic Acron valves. This is going to be the passenger side and then also the large diameter passenger side. Let's go back up and take a look at the minimum operation maintenance schedule here. Your vehicle is equipped with a 1500 GPM pump. In the center section in black, you'll find the test pressures for 150, 200, and 250 PSI. You'll find the associated GPM on the left-hand side of that, and then on the right, you'll find your RPMs. The governed speed of this vehicle is 2,400 RPMs. In this red section, this is your Husky Module 3 foam system. The system on-off switch is the green push button. As we move down, you'll find a digital readout for your foam percentage, and you do have two buttons here for increase or decrease. Those are the gray buttons. Moving to the right, you'll find a prime button. This is to prime the Husky foam system, and there are operating instructions just above the indications here. You'll also find to the right the status light. Let's go ahead and move further down. You're going to find first this warning label here regarding only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. After reading the owner's manual, you'll find all of your associated drains. The three here are going to be for your recirculating line, reel discharge, and primer drain. Those are all twists. And then across the bottom, you're going to find all your associated labeled and color-coded drains. Those are just lifts. To the right, we'll find this pan door. Behind it, you'll find your foam handle for horizontal foam operations, or move the handle to a vertical position for fill. The instructions are on the left-hand side of the door. Also in this compartment, you'll find your manual pump shift override. It is a protected switch with an amber indicator once it's been activated. On the left-hand side of the pump panel, you'll find your driver's side floodlight, passenger side floodlight, compartment heater, and also diesel heater on and off. As we move to the compartment in the same vicinity, you'll find your toolbox. And as we look to the upper left-hand corner in this compartment, this is going to be your shore power, which stands for S1. This is the breaker box for your shore power. And we do have a warning label here regarding electrocution. This is going to be the panel placard here for S1 for your vehicle. And then you also have a yellow placard here, which has the continuous power supply rating. Let's move to the next compartments. The blue cap here is going to be your 4.5 US gallon DEF tank. Just above that, you'll find SCBA storage location. In the middle compartment, you have a tool board. The D handle allows you to open that tool board. When it's fully extended, it will lock in position. The lock is on the hinge side. Moving down just below this location is where you're going to find your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap, and above that you'll find 2 bottle storage locations for your SCBAs with retaining straps. As we move to the rear, you'll find adjustable shelving and LED lighting in all the compartments. General view of the side/rear of the vehicle. Let's start here with the rear of the vehicle. On the far left-hand side, you'll find your cluster housing the reverse, turn, brake, and an emergency light. You'll also find 2 switches, one on the left and one on the right. One is for scene lights and the other is for your hose bed lights. Moving up from that location, you'll find 2 locations here which are pan doors, one for ladder storage and the very top one additionally for ladder storage. You do have emergency lights on the left and right hand side of the vehicle, and at the very top you have your scene light. Let's move down, and across you'll find all of your grab handles for gaining access to go aloft, in addition with a ladder on the right hand side of the vehicle. As we move to the discharge here, this is a 2.5-inch discharge. As you move further down, just in the center you'll find your backup camera. Above the backup camera is where you'll find your traffic advisor controlled from within inside the cab. As we move down, as I previously mentioned, there is an additional cup switch here. This is going to be for your hose bed lights, and then you also have a ladder. Be cautious and read the warning labels here. This can become a pinch hazard. Down at the lower corner, just above the door, you'll find a pressurized cap because of that 2.5-inch discharge. Be cautious when you're opening those under pressure. And then to the right, you'll find some warning here not to ride on the side of the vehicle or in the rear section also. I would like to point out at the very bottom here where the arrow is pointing out, this is a placard here regarding your trailer weight. This also has a breakdown of without trailer distribution and with trailer distribution for your tongue weights. Here's a close-up here, rear scene lights. This is the cup switch on the left-hand side. We're going to go through just a couple of close-ups here. Ladder storage, 24-foot and 14-foot roof. Move up from that location, you'll find additional storage. 2.5-inch discharge. This is going to be that rear discharge. It is a ball valve on the exterior. As we move to the center, you'll find your backup camera. And then as we move down to the very bottom, you'll find your roll-up door, inside LED lighting, and also adjustable shelving. As we move down from that location slightly to the right, this is going to be the other cupped switch. This is the hose bed lights. And then as we move to the upper right-hand corner, this is the very top of the ladder location. You'll find an additional pan door for storage. Up on top of the vehicle, you have considerable storage locations here. These are the outer wing doors. We'll go ahead and move to the dunnage area in the next set of images where we'll cover the items within this area. Let's go ahead and move to that area now. This is going to be your dunnage storage area. You'll find your water fill tank location for top fill, and then you also have your foam A tank. There's also a warning label on this not to mix brands, consistencies, or types. And then as we move forward, you do have a work light pointing toward the rear section of your vehicle. As we move once again to the forward dunnage, you'll find your hydraulic reservoir and also the pump for your foam system. And then to the right, you'll find your booster reel. The foam tank does have a locking cap door. Let's go ahead and cover some of the items on the booster area. First, let's start with, you do have a tensioning wheel here, which allows you to allow easy or harder spooling out of the hose. And if you have any type of mechanical failure, that's the location where the tool would be inserted for manual rewind. Just a close-up here of your hydraulic system. This is the foam hydraulic oil reservoir. That's the cap on the right-hand side for filling. General view here of the hose. As we move to the front of the vehicle, you will find 2 warning labels here regarding not to walk on this surface. It's not intended for firefighters to walk on, and it is slippery. General view here of the side of the apparatus. We'll move through some of the compartments here just to point out some of the items. First, LED lighting, once again in all the compartments, and adjustable shelving. As we move through, you'll find SCBA bottle storage, the retaining straps for those. Move to the rear section, same thing, 3 additional SCBA bottle storage. Move to the center section here of your apparatus, you'll find an adjustable shelf with LED lighting. Let's go ahead and move now to the passenger side front compartment. You're going to find a pull-out shelf. This does have the release mechanism on the right. At the very top in the same compartment, you'll find your shoreline outlet. This is going to be for shore power. When plugged into shore power, those plugs will activate. Now to the pump side, we're going to find a fall hazard here. This is a warning label. You shouldn't ride on the side of the vehicle. You'll also find a pressurized cap warning label here regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing them. You also have a remove your bumper turret before raising the cab of your vehicle. And then just beneath that, you'll find your cab lift. Protected switch on the left in red, and then the activate switch on the right. There are some caution and danger labels here. Please be familiar with those. As we move through the cab lift operation, you can find the to raise the cab or to lower the cab instructions on the right and left. Just beneath that, you'll find all your associated color-coded and labeled drains. And then as we move midsection here, you'll find because of those crosslays coming off, there is an entanglement hazard warning here. You'll also find the number 1 crosslay foam and water yellow placard, and then just beneath that you'll find the release mechanism to release that speed load so you can remove the entire ABS plastic load. Let's go ahead and move through a couple of the compartments here, and as we do so, I'll call out some of the items. We're in the rear section of the apparatus. There are 2 rear-facing EMS or equipment compartments. As we look, you have 2 outer fold-down seats and also 2 centered SCBA seats. Within those roll-up compartments, you'll find also a plug. This is when plugged into shore power, these will become active. There's also adjustable shelving and also LED lighting inside those compartments. Let's move to the rear section of the apparatus where we currently have your daily checks for your apparatus operator. There's going to be an oil and also transmission check. Inside this compartment, the upper right, you should also find an on-off switch for a light. As we move to the driver's side, at all doors, you'll find these labels regarding warning. In addition, there's some warning here regarding seatbelts. Our seatbelts are red in color for ease of identification if individuals have them on. I would like to direct your attention down to the right side about the ankle level of the operator. You'll find this placard, which is manufactured from Pierce for your department with a date of manufacture of February 2019. It does have the 5-digit job number. There's also gross vehicle weight ratings, tire inflation, vehicle number, and also all of your fluid capacities within this placard. Let's move to the left knee of the operator where you'll find the silver on-off switch. This is your master battery switch. To the right, you'll find a multiple job diagnostic port here for your engine, transmission, and ABS. This is also the J1939 diagnostic port. Down in the right, you'll find your ABS diagnostic switches, DPF regen, engine diagnostics, and regen inhibit. All of those switches do have indicators. Once they've been activated, they will illuminate. Let's move up from this location. You're going to find your traffic advisor. This is going to be about the left knee of the operator. And then as we move to the right knee of the operator, just on the right side of the column, you'll find your inverter battery charging system. This is the control module for that. Just up from that, you'll find your main mirror and convex mirror controls. We'll move to the dash area. Starting on the left-hand side, you'll find your ignition switch. And then just up from that, you'll find the start switch. As we move just to the right of these 2 switches, you'll find a very small switch labeled EM. It does stand for Emergency Master. This will gain access to all of your emergency lights at one push of your button. To the right, you'll find your headlight and parking lights, and then further to the right, you'll find a switch labeled panel. This will increase or decrease the light within your dash gauge lights. On the right side, about the operator's knee, you're going to find the on-off switch for your engaging of the high idle. There's also an indication there for your high idle indicator. On the left, we're going to start with your transmission oil, DEF level, and water temp. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. On the right, you'll find your volts, fuel, front and rear air, informational diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. General view here of the center section of your cab. Let's go ahead and go through some of the items here. Starting at the very top, you'll find your FRC throttle control. Increase is to the right, decrease is to the left. As we move further down, you'll find your stationary OK to pump and roll. This is an indicator. You do have a water pump, foam system, pump and roll, an open TTP valve close, and also a load manager. On the right, you'll find your windshield wipers. There are selections here. To push will give you fluid on the windshield. To the right, we're going to find your engine brake on and off with settings of low, medium, and high. Tire change, which is a protected switch. differential lock on and off, also protected. And then your differential lock activated in red, that's an indicator, and then your activation for your 4x4. Located in the center, you'll find your climate control, the heat defrost in gray, heat in red, and AC in blue. You'll also find your pull to apply your system parking brake in yellow and push to release. Located in the center, you'll find your Allison transmission pad with an indication in the upper right corner that you pump in neutral. Let's move overhead of the operator, left-hand side of the vehicle, overhead once again of the operator. You'll find your length of your vehicle, 10 feet, 7.5 inches, length 32 feet 2 inches, gross vehicle weight rating of 54,000 pounds. You also have the department job number 32771. If you make any changes, please adjust this placard. As we move to the right, you'll find your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. When those switches are engaged, you will find the green indicator will illuminate. Just to the right, you will find your front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, driver's side flood, passenger side flood, and also your rear scene lights. Once again, if they've been activated, the green light will illuminate. Moving further to the right, we're going to find your high beam flash, opticom, air horn, electric horn, backup override, and also your mirror heat. Located in the center, you'll find your backup monitor. Moving to the very top, behind the backup monitor, you'll find a red indicator indicating do not move the truck, you have a compartment or door open. Moving to the right, you'll find your pump pressure with the digital readout. To the right in the blue section, you'll find your water gauge indicator. Moving to the right, you'll find in green the foam A tank indicator. All the way to the right, you'll find your TFT remote control. This is for that bumper turret on the front passenger side of your vehicle. All of your controls are accessed through this. Further to the right, you'll find your Pierce seatbelt monitoring system. Green indicating someone is in the seat and belted. Red indicating they're in the seat and not belted. Beneath that, you'll find your FireCom wireless module. General view here in the passenger side. This is the front seat or officer seat. This is going to be your fill for your windshield wiper. There is also a compartment storage location under the officer seat. And as we look to the dash area, you'll find an air horn switch, 2 barrel style 12-volt access points. In the center, your FireCom system, PA system, and also siren control. Let's move overhead of the passenger seat. You'll find 2 future switch locations if necessary. And then as we look underneath, you'll find your FireCom wireless base headset system. Let's go ahead and take a quick look from the front section looking to the rear. You'll find your 2 center-mounted SCBA seats and then 2 outer edge fold-down seats that have SCBAs also. Congratulations on your new fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding the content of this video or any future questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.